What's up, world? Welcome to a new episode of the Brandon Janeau Show. As you know, I am Brandon Janeau, and like always, on all podcast platforms everywhere, it is the Brandon Janeau Show. On social media platforms, Brandon Janeau Show on TikTok, Instagram, um, Threads, Facebook, yeah, and of course, like always, YouTube channel Brandon Janeau Show. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Technically, the game is still going on, but the game is pretty much fucking over. Let's be real. This is bleed purple and gold. Um, LSU tonight played Grambling State, uh, Battle of Louisiana, pretty much. In LSU today, opening home opener for LSU, and they pretty much destroyed Grambling. But the first two series for Grambling offensively, they actually exposed LSU's defense again. The defense of LSU is so goddamn. That damn defense worries me, man. I'm not gonna sit and act like it doesn't. It worries the living hell out of me because their secondary is small as hell, and Grambling capitalized on it. And then on top of that, they were running the ball up the gut early in the game. Kind of um, got to the defense up the middle, which Florida State exposed late last game. It was pretty bad, but the offense, Jaden Daniels, um, his receivers way better game. Of course, it's Grambling. It's not like you're playing against Florida State or Mississippi State or Alabama or any of these other teams yet. It's freaking Grambling. Like you can take it how you want to take that. Better offensive game plan. They scored the first five possessions, first six, seven possessions that they had the ball in their hands. They drove and scored touchdowns. So that's great. But at the same time, like I said, next week is really where I think it's either next week or the week after next is when you're really gonna see who LSU really is when they start to get into the SEC play. And man, I'm really concerned about LSU, man. I think that this is one game. Yeah, it's Grambling. Yeah, you get your foot in, but it's kind of like until you play real competition like you played last Sunday against Florida State, this is all for naught. I think that until you play real competition that have big receivers that go over the middle and do things, yeah, this is bad for LSU. The first two plays, like I said, for Florida, for Grambling, first two drives for Grambling ended in points. Um, so that's not good. Um, but LSU's offense looked better this week. The receivers, of course, didn't drop passes, which is a very important thing about last Sunday. A lot of receivers was dropping a lot of passes over the middle and just dropping passes left and right. This game they didn't. I think we found who I think his number one is, and that's Brian Roberts Jr. Number 11. I think we found his. I think he's found his number one, and that's a good thing because he needs to find his number one weapon. We got a plethora of running backs, which I'm very happy to see. But yeah, man, I'm watching right now Alabama, Texas. Alabama just scored, and I'm looking at Alabama, and I'm like, if you ask me right now, what team I believe can actually get better as the season progresses, it's probably us. I do think LSU is better than Alabama right now, but we shall see when it's all said and done. We got to go to Tuscaloosa. Like I said, that's pretty much the game that I really want to see. What is Alabama going to look like, really, when we get there? But man, yeah, LSU though won and died, which they were supposed to do. It's freaking Grambling. It's not like it's again like not like it's like a Power Five team. It's a freaking swag team. And here's the crazy part: Grambling could definitely end up in a swag championship, or they could be completely bad for the next couple of weeks. We don't freaking know, but yeah, LSU for the most part, man. Exactly what we all thought. If you're an LSU fan, you're supposed to beat Grambling. You're supposed to beat Grambling. You're supposed to beat them like you beat them tonight. So I'm not surprised by that, but like I said about playing LSU as a team going forward, these types of games I expect you to beat the teams you're supposed to beat. But when you have to play the teams that you are either very leveled with or a team that you could kind of might be a little bit better than you, that's when I think LSU is gonna have the biggest problems. Like last week against Florida State, just a little bit better than them, so they had problems with them. Um, they got to figure out that secondary. They got to figure out their defense. I think they've. I can't even say they figured it out tonight because it's Grambling. Like I said, it's not like you figured it out. When you start playing real competition, let's see how you really look. And like I said early in the first half of the Florida State game, that defense was really great. They just got tired because the offense just could not put the ball in the goddamn end zone. On top of that, you just had a lot of lot of forward downs, and they just couldn't convert them. So it feels like that is kind of how I look at this. So all in all, man, LSU is gonna be 1-1. Depending on what some of these games end like, they're probably not gonna jump super high. I mean, depending on if Alabama comes back and beat Texas tonight, I don't know. Ooh, damn. But if Alabama could come back and beat Texas tonight, maybe Texas falls. But I don't know how far they fall. But and Oregon right now is in a very interesting game against Texas Tech, so that could they can lose that game, and then things could go completely left for Oregon in the next couple of weeks because they play Colorado. But for the most part, I don't really see anything changing in the top 10, top 12. We sit at 14, so like I said, outside of maybe Oregon losing to Texas Tech tonight, that's about it. And depending on how close they win this game against Texas, if they come back and win, it all depends on that. But for the most part, LSU is going to be 1-1. Congratulations. But I got to see you against good teams. I got to see you against teams that can actually compete with you. And like I said, maybe last week was a formality. Maybe you needed to lose, and that's exactly what I said. Maybe they needed to lose that game, show how they really still need to improve themselves. Um, but yeah, but the same thing that Florida State did early in that game, the late in that game to LSU, Grambling came out and did exactly what they did, and that is throw the ball deep, throw the ball up. The cornerbacks are not tall enough to compete with receivers that's bigger than them, so they were just killing them. So hopefully, when we get into SEC play, we can figure that out. Until then, LSU is 1-1. Congratulations. Next week we play. I forgot what we play next week. Maybe UAB or we play Mississippi State. But yeah, hopefully next week we continue to get ourselves more engaged. But until then, this is Bleed Purple and Go. I am Brandon Janeau. Peace.